Hey everyone, we're going to talk about sabotage and payoffs today. So, what happens when we want to change and we want something different, but when we start doing it, something gets in the way? It's like we know where we want to go, or we have some kind of idea of where we want to go, and we definitely know we don't like where we are, and we want to get out of where we are. But the thing is, the default is what has happened in the past. So what's happened in the past is going to happen in the future unless we do something different. So what happens is it's more comfortable to stay the same than it is to change. And sometimes even doing something different feels wrong. It feels uncomfortable. So when we do something different, when it starts feeling a certain way, we end up wanting to go backwards. So sabotage and payoffs, we want to recognize them because there's a reason why you keep doing something. So we say that we want to lose weight, or we say we want the job to look differently, or we say that I want a better marriage. And then when we get off the default and we start doing something different, oh boy, the brain is trying to protect us and keep us the same. So it feels uncomfortable and your brain is like, wait, this doesn't feel right. Go back. And we end up getting stuck in a loop of wanting something different, trying it out, feeling like it doesn't fit, and so we go back to what's comfortable. It feels familiar, and then I'm unhappy again because I'm not getting the results, and it's just this like continuous thing going on. And so we're going to talk about some of these things. So you won't know all of this right away. So we're just going to jump in, and the best thing that we can do is be curious and stay open, so that these things can kind of reveal themselves. So all the answers are inside of you, but what happens is our brain will kind of block what we really need to see and hear and know, because it's fighting against you. It actually wants you to stay the same. It thinks it's keeping you safe by saying the same. And we have a lot of beliefs inside of our brain that are lies, and we literally behave and react to life based on a lie. So let's first talk about sabotage. So sabotage is the things you do or don't do that prevent you from achieving a goal because some subconscious need is greater than your goal. So remember, the conscious brain is the logical one on the top, and then the subconscious brain, that's the deeper level of understanding. And it's also where you have to use repetition and consistency for things to become automatic. So you already do things in a way that has been repeated and consistent that your subconscious mind will automatically do it. So part of sabotage is that your subconscious mind already has a programming. And so what we're trying to do is reprogram that programming. So what happens is sabotage will come in. So common sabotage is beliefs and ways that we get in our own way. So the first way we sabotage ourselves, these are the top three. First is setting too big a goal so you can give up before you even start. Yep. Number two, not listening to your signals or listening to them, because those emotions and body signals, when you start doing something different, it's not going to feel good. And so it's important to know that, because when I start doing something different and I have an emotion or a body signal of like anxiety because it's so different and I don't know what to expect, having a panic attack, that is a signal, and that is a way for us to go back to the way things are because of sabotage. It's our own body's signal to tell us, go back, go back, go back. This is too hard. We want to know what's going to happen. And so you just took me out of my comfort zone. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm panicking. Go back. The other way we sabotage ourselves is to go in the opposite direction of the goal. So I see this happen a lot. We get distracted, or because of fear, I will change the direction of my goal. So I'll have a goal in mind, and then I'll do the exact opposite of the goal. That is sabotage. And I use that as a distraction or fear. And I was thinking about fear is false evidence appearing real. That's a great acronym because we make up these stories in our minds, and they usually are based on false beliefs, and those beliefs will sabotage us. So let's talk about some examples. Weight is a great one, or just your physical health, right? We'll binge eat before we start the diet because you're going to starve. So that's the subconscious need. The subconscious believes that you're going to starve when you go on the diet because that's what you've told yourself, that you're going to restrict, that, there's not going to be enough to eat. You're going to be hungry. So because of that story is in your subconscious, that's the automatic belief. Whether it's true or not, fancied or real, it's going to end up causing you to binge before you start. Another example, I'll start tomorrow. Again, resistance. When we're trying to get something done, this can show up in all kinds of different ways. So we're not listening to signals that you're in alignment with your goal. And so resistance will come in, meaning it's going to work against you. So procrastination is a big one because our mind wants to just stay the same. Okay, buying treats for somebody else, for a work party, for our kids. So the treats are there. So it makes it harder to make a good choice when there's treats right there. But I bought them for somebody else. That's a way to sabotage you. Keeping junk food in the house, a way to sabotage you. Not making time in your schedule to prepare food or have the right foods that you want to eat. Okay, here's another example for success. Like if you wanted a different job, if you were building a career. So here's a way to sabotage is not apply for the job, not call the client. How about being late is a way to sabotage, not dressing the dress code, not following the rules. Rebelling is a way to sabotage. Complaining, gossiping, distractions. These are all ways we sabotage ourselves from getting where we want to go. This is to me the most important one. Believing it's always been that way and I can't change it. That to me sums up fear. And when I believe it's always been that way and I can't change it, especially when I'm thinking in forms of a relationship, whether it's in a relationship with an employer, someone special, friends, acquaintances, when I believe they're never going to change and nothing can change the situation, I'm in fear. And it's easier to give up and hide and not deal with it. It's easier to complain. It's easier to sabotage, right? So those are the examples of how sabotage shows up. So when we're doing a behavior, there is a payoff. So what are you getting out of staying where you are? That is the payoff. So let's say there's something going on in a relationship or there's a behavior. So I work with a lot of single people and I work with a lot of married people. And there's a payoff for both sides. So single people are talking about how they want to get married. And married people are talking about how they wish they were single, or the cons of being married, or the other person is making them miserable, right? So the single people are thinking if they get married, that's going to make their life better. They want to share their life with somebody. And then the married people are thinking if he would only change, if she would only change, things would be so much better. So there's a payoff in our mind of that keeps us stuck in the same thinking. And so if you were to ask yourself, why am I not married? Or why am I not happy in my marriage? And there is a payoff, which means you're getting something out of staying where you are. Your brain wants you to stay the same. So just the fact that it's familiar to stay single and it's what you know, or familiar with the way you interact with your partner, your spouse, it's comfortable. So it's familiar. So it's easier to stay the same. But if we dig even deeper, there's another payoff. So what I'm saying by a payoff is that I'm getting something out of being where I am. So think about these questions. Why am I stressed about not having enough time? Where is the payoff when I'm stressed about not having enough time? Why am I overwhelmed with all there is to do? I can't visualize what I really want. There's a payoff there. If you can't visualize what you really want, then you don't know what you want. So then there's nowhere to go. Then you don't have to do anything. That's the payoff. The payoff, just to give you an insight, is always an excuse. It's an excuse so that I don't have to change. So I come up with a story. And then I repeat that story and it gets in my subconscious so deep that I know I want things to change and it won't, because there is something deeper in my subconscious that keeps playing. So what am I getting out of this? So there's a couple of different examples we're going to go through. One of the common payoffs is I can hide from other people. I'm too busy to get married. I'm too busy to get what I really want. Another acronym for fear is forgetting everything's all right. Failure expected and received. Fear. Failure expected and received. Feelings expressed allows relief. So fear can mean a lot of different things. And yet, if we don't uncover the specific thing that I'm getting from my behavior, it could be hard to understand what my next thing that I need to do. So when I think of like a connection to your family, we have these, the money beliefs, we need to belong, our health. So I might not do something because they won't love me if I make more money than them. My family is more righteous, so we work hard for our money. It's a false belief. The Smith family has diabetes. So when I have these beliefs, it keeps me, there's a payoff for, like when I think of being morbidly obese, that runs in my family. So if I'm not like everybody else, if I got too skinny, then I wouldn't feel like I belong in my family. A money belief, my dad taught us that, you have to work hard for your money. And he taught me, if you get educated and you work per an hour, that's how you get money. And there's so many different ways to make money, but I always was told it's hard to make money and you have to work really hard and you have to put the time in to make the money. So that is a way that's a payoff for me to stay working for somebody else when I believe that. When I think I belong to my family, and because we're all the same, it might not feel right to leave and be a part. I won't be a part of my family if I do something different. So these are some common examples of why someone would stay the same, because they want to be connected to the family. They want to, when I think of like our moms and our fathers telling us these beliefs, we stay the same because we want to please them. So that's a belief system. That's why I'm willing to stay the same for that payoff. So weight, I get to eat my emotions instead of feel them. I get to hide. They can't judge me because I haven't shown them the real me. A boundary when we need protection from men or people, relationships. Women will hate me if food is my best friend. I don't have to blank. So for me, food is a great one because eating gives me an excuse to not deal with my feelings. So I can use food to change the way I feel. And I don't have, it's an excuse, right? Because if I eat, then I don't have to feel. Another one for me that came up recently that my mentor told me is that when my mouth is full, I don't have to say what I really want to say. And that was a big one for me. I've heard about using food for protection. If I'm fat, people won't look at me. They won't recognize me. I won't get attention. I can hide. So if I'm afraid of people or I'm afraid of standing out, like maybe I think people are going to have opinions about me, so I want to hide. So I'll use weight to do that. But this one was very interesting, that if I'm eating, then I don't have to say what I really want to say. And for me, there's been a lot of work on determining if I say something, I might hurt somebody's feelings. And so, especially really intimate, close relationships to me. So the payoff for eating is that if my mouth is full, I don't have to talk. And it's kind of my passive aggressive way of hiding. Okay, success. Getting a promotion and suddenly find a reason to leave the company. So feeling exposed as you move up through the boxes. And what I mean by that is, I get a promotion and then I feel like I don't really belong there. I can't take the attention because it feels different, right? And so The payoff is that it's easier to stay where I was because that's more comfortable. I get to stay safe and not be vulnerable as I never succeed. I don't have to grow up if I stay where I am. Growing up is stressful. Again, these are beliefs. They are feelings. They are excuses to stay the same. I feel like a fraud or a fake. I'm not that great. I'm not really good enough to be here. So if I believe that, it's a payoff for staying where I am, so I don't have to be exposed. Okay, this one's really important. This is where we get the most payoffs, and it's drama. And I want you to think about the relationships in your life, because there is a payoff for drama. And it could be attention, toxic relationships. Playing the victim in a relationship has a huge payoff, which is why forgiveness and gratitude is crucial in life. Because playing a victim gives me permission to blame the other person and not do anything on my side. So anytime I'm playing the victim or pointing the finger and blaming and complaining about somebody else, it's a payoff, because I don't have to do what I need to do to build my self-esteem, to build confidence, to build boundaries. I just blame them. So we use drama as a payoff for protection, for hiding, having people need me. So when I think of relationships and blaming them so I don't have to look at what I need to do, having people need me makes it so I don't have to progress myself. My time needs to go to help them. And it feels good to help other people and put myself on the back burner. And so we get used to that feeling of being of service to other people and being needed. And so then that's the payoff. So then I won't do something for me because the payoff feels good. So there's always a payoff to why we stay in the same behavior. I'm just going to keep saying that so that you're able to see where these, why we stay the same. We stay the same because we sabotage our efforts and we like the payoff we're getting, even though your brain might tell you you don't. It will tell you that. Feeling important. So for a long time, my job at the hospital, that job made me feel important. It felt like people thought it was a noble career. And to leave and work for myself, it was one of the reasons I stayed in the medical field for 21 years and worked for someone else was because I felt important there. I got lots of accolades. My patients loved me. My coworkers loved me. My colleagues. So I stayed there for a long time, pushing down my dream. And that was a payoff. It was a payoff because it was, people looked at that profession as a good profession, and it was a secure job. And there's all these beliefs around feeling important and safe. But really, it's an assumption. It's not really the truth, because my brain tells me things, and it doesn't really matter if it's the truth or not. My brain will tell me things, and I will act accordingly because my brain is trying to keep me the same. So it will do anything to keep me that way. Now, a lot of people don't like to admit this one because it's about getting attention. It's like, well, I don't need attention. I can take care of myself. But I have realized that even negative attention, like if someone like if I'm in a toxic relationship and somebody is, in my eyes, making it miserable, but I don't set any boundaries, it's because I get attention when I complain or play the victim or blame them. Even if it's negative, it is attention. So my sister has been dating for 5 years after her divorce, and she doesn't want to give up, that there's not a great guy out there, and she is constantly having to recognize what is keeping her single and what happens in her dating experiences. And she has admitted, and it did not happen overnight, because it's hard to admit what the payoff is. We don't want to admit that that's why we're where we are, because we say we want this goal. And so we don't want to take responsibility, but there is always a payoff for our actions, our behaviors, and our results. Always. Even if, whether you like it or you don't, there's always a payoff. And so letting people know you can't take care of yourself, so they need to help you. This is a payoff. So that could be a reason why I play the victim, or I feel sorry for myself. I'll say I can't, or I don't have to, or I won't do that. It closes the mind, and that's my payoff. My payoff is I won't do it. I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. Like, I will come up with some kind of an excuse. So you can see that sabotage and payoffs are a way to protect us, to stay the same. We make excuses, we make assumptions, fancy it or real, it doesn't matter. The truth or a lie, it really doesn't matter, because our brain wants to be on that default. It wants to be comfortable. And that is the exact opposite of learning and growing. So you really have to commit that I want to grow and I want to change, and that it's going to feel different. So one of the great mantras that I have used is, this is what different feels like. When I'm in uncharted territory, I don't know what it's supposed to feel like. So it feels uncomfortable. It takes me by surprise. I'm afraid, because when I don't know what's going to happen, I might look stupid. I might make a mistake. And a lot of us don't want to admit that either, that we're afraid of looking stupid or making a mistake, or afraid about what other people say. I think as we get older, we tend to think that I don't care what other people think about me. But when we really get deeper, a lot of our behavior is our way of fitting into society. And so our brain lies to us and say, well, I don't really care about what they think. But if we really look at it, we do. We do care about what other people think, because we are programmed to fit in and be a part of and belong. So if this is blowing your mind right now, and you want to disagree with me, it's okay, because that is your brain telling you, reject, reject, reject. So just keep an open mind. Keep an open mind and realize that you might not like what different feels like. It could feel wrong. You could feel bad. You could feel guilty. You could feel ashamed. You could feel overwhelmed. I remember I had this amazing day. Like, I got everything on my to-do list. I was of service. I did self-care. I did my AM PM routine. I mean, it was like this great day. And then I got a new client, and I just felt like I should be elated right now. I even found out that I had won an award for this book contest that I put my book in. And it was like, I should be on cloud 9. And I wanted to pick a fight with my husband. I felt irritable and discontent. I felt tired. I felt overwhelmed. I felt frustrated. I felt irritable. It was like, where is this irritable coming from? And the thing is, I didn't expect, or I didn't remember that when I'm here and I go here, I don't know what that feels like. And so I'm having all these signals. My body is giving me these signals, and it's like, okay, this is what different feels like. And to be okay with this is what different feels like. Oh, like I want to categorize it as this is bad, this is good. That's our brain's job. And yet when I do that, I end up having a payoff because I'm forgetting where I'm going. I forget I'm not on the default. I just took a turn. I just took another road. And my brain is going to resist that. And I'm going to want to go back to the way I usually handle things. But that's the default. So when I have a mantra like, this is what different feels like, when my brain wants to sabotage me, when I want to go back to the payoff, when I want to go back to what's comfortable, I get to look at what's going on and say, this is what different feels like. It's okay. And remember, fear also can stand for, what was I thinking of was a good one. Feelings expressed allows relief. Forgetting everything's all right. That's the one. Forgetting everything is all right. That's what I need to recognize, that I'm in fear when I have taken a turn off the default mode and I'm on another path and I'm going in a different direction. And I can recognize I'm afraid. I can recognize this is different. I've forgotten everything is all right. I am okay. It's okay to try this new road. If I don't ever go down another road, I can't get anything different. Default will always be there. It'll be waiting for you. But stay on the road long enough to experience a different result instead of the loop, because that's what I was talking about at the beginning. We end up just going on this hamster wheel because we want to do something different, and it feels like we're doing something different because we're moving, but we're moving in a circle, in a loop. So we have to get off that loop. We have to get off the hamster wheel. We have to do another road, a different road, a road you haven't been on. And that's why it's going to feel different. And when you go on another road, you get to look around and you're going to see things that you haven't seen before. And sometimes that's scary for us because we don't know what we're going to see. So we need to remember everything is all right. I'm on a different road. There's more to see. I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm going to be curious about what this road is going to lead to. That is all about why we stay the same. It's the sabotage and it is the payoff. There is always a payoff for why we do a behavior. So this week, you're going to be noticing where these payoffs are coming from, where these sabotage behavior is leading you. And we just get to say, this is what different looks like. This is what different feels like. I'm okay. We have to be our own cheerleader. We have to say, it's okay. It's okay. You are okay. You are doing it. You have to do something different to get something different. Can't wait to see what the results are going to be.